Hello everyone, Roy Kerckhoffs here. This here is a photo of the post office in Leucadia, California, which is the most northern community part of Encinitas, California. I printed it in black and white on canvas and stretched it on relatively thin stretcher bars, as you can see. And I'm going to color this today with acrylics. I'm going to use acrylic glazes mostly, but here and there I might actually also use some opaque acrylics, and you will see why. So let's do this. So before I start, I would like to show you the original color photo, which is here, this one here. And you can see that there's a lot of blue and red in here. And the thing is, when you turn a color photo black and white with default settings, say either in Photoshop or Silver FX Pro or whatever you're using, usually it's one of these. So blue and red are two primary colors, and when you turn something black and white, not both of them will turn into the same gray value necessarily. So that's why people used to, and I guess still do, and with film photography you would put on a yellow filter to get a little bit darker sky when you do black and white photography. I used to do that too. So here, when I turned this one black and white, I actually used a digital blue filter in order to get the blue slider, because if you want to hand color a photo, it's the gray values underneath that will desaturate your colors, and if they are too dark, if the background is too dark gray, you won't get nice saturated colors. So I needed brighter grays, lighter grays, in order to get more saturated colors. And you can see I could have done better. The white of the building actually turned out pretty nice and white. Still, this blue, we'll see how it turns out. It's a little bit on the dark side, and this was red. And when I put the blue filter on, this was almost black. So I locally had to enhance, make lighter these red areas after using the blue filters. So we'll see how it turns out. It's a little bit darker anyway. It's not a bright blue, so that's okay. It will probably turn out fine. But when you look at the flag here, you can see the red stripes turned out pretty dark. So what we probably want to do here is use opaque acrylics and get that nice saturated red in there. And perhaps also for the blue here, which also turned out pretty dark. So let's grab some golden gloss glazing liquid. That's what's going to make our paints transparent. Some ultramarine blue. So I like to use flat brushes because it will allow me to cover some larger areas all at once. So let's grab a little bit of paint, not too much. I could probably use more. And mix that into the acrylic medium. So it's a lot more medium compared to the paint that I'm using. Let's see how this turns out. Probably could go still a little darker, little more color, I mean. So I'm not pushing very hard, because I do that. Actually, I'm not putting the paint on. So if I compare this to Marshall photo oils, when I use Marshall photo oils on, say, photo paper, it feels slightly different. Of course, now I'm using brushes, whereas as I do it with Marshall photo oils, I do it with I use cotton rounds and Q-tips. This dries a lot faster too. So the Marshall photo oil takes about, actually I can color this too. It can take several days, up to a week, maybe sometimes longer to dry. Whereas this will be dry in less than a day. Actually, by today in the evening, it's the morning now, this will probably be dry. So just take it easy, just coloring this step by step. As you can see, I'm kind of go from surface to surface. There we go. And if you're not happy with how the color turned out, just wait till it's dry and then do another layer. That's certainly possible. Kind of don't want to go over it again now, because then usually what happens, I'm wiping off the previous part that I did, and because it's wet now, it won't stick anymore that well. So you kind of have to wait. Also, with what I like about Marshall photo oils is that you can wipe it off easily, and that's normally how I work. Put it on and then wipe it off the areas where I don't want it, make little corrections. But even here, you can still wipe this off if you're fast enough. Here, watch. See? So if you're fast enough, you can still make little corrections here and there. But it dries fast. Even now, this part is already drying. So here I now will probably have a hard time removing it. Okay, let's do the top part here. So you'll see more brush strokes when you do it this way with acrylics, but that's fine. I mean, shows it's hand colored. And to a certain extent you can also use cotton rounds to smooth out things a little bit, but I feel confident enough that I'm not going to need that here today. There we go. And then this ledge here might be blue too, I forgot. Well, let's just do this part here. Oh yeah, and then we have to make the decision. These letters are really white. Are we just going to go over it or leave it white? Because if we leave it white, we'll have to color kind of in between. So it looks like I made a decision, and I'm going to leave them white. So here's the address of this post office, 1160 North Coast Highway 101, and it's on the corner of 101 and Phoebe Street, which is over here. Still using the larger brush. I'm going to switch to a smaller one to get in between here. Alright, well, let's do this too. This little mailbox. Alright, so a lot for the blues. There's a Mini Cooper here, let's add some blue to it. See anything else maybe here? Yeah, I think that's good. And then of course, between the letters here. So let's grab a smaller brush. I don't have to go between like each letter inside the zero here, for example. It's not that noticeable. I'm just doing the larger areas. Could do it within the O here. I guess the E, and then this area. Okay, that's pretty good. And then what I said about here, let's add some opaque color here, so that becomes nice and blue again. So I'm just will clean this brush. And then use it to color, actually I must say paint over that area. So let's grab some of that opaque paint here and add it to the flag. It's still pretty dark, so what I'm going to do, I'll add some white. So I have titanium white. I'll add that here. So normally I wouldn't, when you color, you wouldn't want to use white because it will just make things more opaque. However, in this case, like I said, we're actually painting over. Let's see, is this a good color? There we go. And like I said earlier, I could have focused on this area, make it much brighter when I converted it. When I converted it to black and white, didn't do that. So this is a way to handle that now. So now that we're with the flag, let's add some cadmium red to the stripes. Of course, we don't have to worry about the white stripes. That looks good. There we go. I wonder if this is probably good enough already. Let's see. I don't think I need to add white. Yeah, actually I probably do. Even if you do this with Marshall photo oils, which I have a lot of videos of, you can add opaque colors with Marshall photo oils because there's also titanium white available in the Marshall oil series, which turns your colors opaque when you add like a colored pigment to it of one of the other colors. I have a video on that too. Okay. And the last one up here. All right. So now that we're back to our full image, let's grab some more acrylic medium. And we're going to color now the other red parts of this photo. So grab some of that red. We probably need a little bit more now, because if red is too transparent, it will more turn like pink. Let's see if this is good. Yeah, see how it turns so dark because of the background that's so dark. But still red. Let's see if we just add a little bit more red. It will get a little less transparent, but we'll also have a little bit more color. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So Leucadia actually means, it's Old Greek for like sheltered paradise or place of refuge, named after the Greek island of Lefkada in the Ionian Sea. So it is believed that Leucadia was founded by British spiritualists like around 1870. And a lot of the streets in Leucadia are named after Greek and Roman gods, such as like Vulcan, Hermes, Hygeia. There we go. That's still a pretty nice red. So bee farmer Nathan Eaton initially called the area Eatonville in 1875, and it also has been briefly known as Merle in the late 1800s, named after a son of a railroad superintendent, E.B. Scott. Alright. So for this small area here, I'm using a smaller brush to get a better handle on the more detailed work here. There we go. So let's see, let's do this curb. This curb was red. Like that. And I think this part is red too. I'm doing that very thin. And then some of these lines are red. I'm not going to make it too bright red. I don't want to distract the main subject here, which is of course the building. Okay, this is good enough. So these poles here, they are yellow, and normally I would maybe not do this, but because now we have like red and blue, yellow makes sense to add to it. So grab another little bit of acrylic medium. Then I have cadmium yellow. Grab some of that yellow. And the same thing we have here is that like on the darker gray side, so it doesn't show as well. So I'm grabbing a little bit more yellow, making it slightly more opaque, get some more color. Like that. It's not as yellow as in the photo I showed you earlier, but I mean we don't have to reproduce it exactly. If I would have wanted that, I would have also make this much more light, the grays, or as we did earlier, use opaque paint, but then we would also lose like the structure that's on here, and it would look too much, like too uniform. Now it's kind of blending in with the the rest of the image. So I'm pretty happy with this. Some yellow here. Let's see, some yellow posts here, I think. Oh, here's another mailbox that I forgot. Let's see, just add some yellow in the window. Grab a little bit of that blue we made earlier. I'll add that to the mailbox here. Okay, so looking at it, I don't feel it's ready. And what I like to do is I like to add some light burnt sienna to the asphalt here, giving it a little bit warmer tones. Actually might also add that slightly to the building here under the awning. So I'm grabbing some burnt sienna. Some more acrylic medium. It's probably too much, I always take too much. Let's see if this is a good size brush. Yeah, for most of it. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So you may know that acrylics actually turn a little darker when they dry. And in this case here, when you do it like this, it will actually, because I'm using a lot of acrylic medium, and the white in the acrylic medium, you can see it's white, that's what turns transparent later and makes acrylic look more darker. So what happens here, again, the white disappears from when it dries from the acrylic medium and becomes more transparent. So actually now even when you think, oh, this is a little too opaque, don't worry, it will still turn more transparent later. Alright, now on the inside of the lines. I wonder if the red is already dry and I can probably just paint over it a little bit. Yeah, I think I can. So I'm not going to worry about it, just paint over the red. And you can see it's still there. Now what I could do too is add some blue to the sky. I kind of like the contrast of the gray sky and the colorful subject. Maybe some to the buildings in the back here. This might be the last part. No, let's do it in the back here too. See, there's a slightly warmer feel to it now. And maybe a little bit on this building here. Okay, and then let's see, add a little bit here. What's happening here really, if you look at the original color photo, this is a reflection of the ground that warms up the light under the awning here. And I could have just left it untouched, but I'm not. Some structure on the building here. Let's presume it's just a little dirty. So add a little bit of this color here. So now I'm kind of deviating from the original photo. So I'm very lightly and randomly adding some colors here and there of this burnt sienna. Maybe into the blue. There we go. And the last thing I would like to do is add a little bit of green to the trees here, and then we're done. This is chromium oxide green. Don't need very much. And I see that I have some of that acrylic medium left over here. Close to my earlier red. Let's see. Again, it may look a little too opaque now, but this will also turn more transparent later. And these are almost silhouettes, so I'm not adding too much here, just a little bit. All right. Oh, actually, one more thing. I would like to add the impression of some stars in the blue. So I picked up a little bit of paint on the very tip, on the edge of my flat brush here. Opaque white, titanium white. And I'm gonna add some stars here and there. Like there will be dots. That's it. And here we have it. The Leucadia Post Office, hand colored with acrylics on canvas. Oh, I never said this actually. This photo is 24 by 16 inches. and I'm going to frame it in a barnwood frame later. Like if you look at the blues, I could have probably go a little bit more saturated with that, but it also means I would lose the structure underneath. That's on the bricks of the building, and I wanted to retain that look. So I'm pretty happy with it. Hope you liked the video. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.